Hola. This video is about December 26th, 2019, and it is also about January 2020 for Sagittarius Ascendant, Sagittarius Rising. Today is November 12th. It is the full moon of Taurus, and I have been strongly guided, strongly impressed with speaking today about the coming energies at the end of November, going into December, and then that little bit of 2020. There's the big conjunction in Saturn and Pluto. So for each rising sign, and this is for Sagittarius Ascendant, Sagittarius Rising, the coming energies are the eclipse, which happens in your second house, which is income, which is what is mine, what I value. That is your second house. The second house is your resources, tangible and non-tangible, what I value, how I value myself. So for for Sagittarius, Sagittarius Rising, you truly value the physical, material, tangible world. You value business and government. You are going to, of course, have your own specific opinions on that, especially around, well, it's getting pretty hostile. In hostile political environments, we have great division in our country. We have great division in our world. We have a lot going on. But either way, you're going to have very specific ideas around long-standing structured entities, okay? Now, for Sagittarius Rising, at the end of this month, at the end of November, we have Venus and Jupiter conjunct the galactic center on the 23rd. There's a video down below. If you haven't seen that for this month, you need to watch that video, and that will give you more understanding about what I'm talking about right now. And this video kind of picks up from there. I wanted to go a little bit more in depth about the following days. So the day after is the 24th, where we have Venus and Jupiter literally holding hands. That whole weekend, the 23rd to 24th, is going to be a beautiful time, depending upon where this occurs in your chart. And for Sagittarius Rising, this happens in your first house, which is the house of me, the house of my body, the house of my physical appearance, the house of my personality. At this time, when it happens to a person's first house, it has everything to do with how they appear to the world. Now, typically, it is super, super positive. You're a Sag rising. Jupiter is your ruler, and Venus is going to be there with Jupiter. Venus is about peace and harmony and relationships. Venus is about, I love things. I love material, fine, high quality things. I love my purses. I love my shoes. You know, if you're a male, it's going to be about a beautiful female coming into your world, right? And kind of being showered, whether it's affection and love and just complete peace and harmony. It's going to feel really good, okay? Now, understand that when it's holding hands with Jupiter, when it's conjunct with Jupiter, Jupiter has a tendency to make things appear to be grander than what they truly are. You know, if you've known anyone who's a Sagittarius, or depending upon if they have Sagittarius in their third house, they can be a great storyteller, you know, very jovial, very giving individuals, very giving. I mean, yeah, just they represent Jupiter. They're like, here, take this, you know, like they want to give. So they are really nice people to have in your life. Very optimistic, fiery individuals. Optimism, fire. Now, with that, understand that Jupiter has a tendency to exaggerate things, okay? So you just want to be aware of this. What that means is that the reason I'm doing this video is because I've been guided to say, hey, you know what? Wait a little bit. Don't, be a little bit more methodical in your thinking, be a little bit more logical and rational, and understand that in 3 days, on the 26th, Venus will move out of Sag, move away from Jupiter, and go into tangible, practical Capricorn, okay? Responsible Capricorn. So at that time, that means Venus will be becoming a little bit more grounded, a little bit more earthy, right? Capricorn's earthy. She will definitely be fixed upon what her responsibilities are. Now, I'm mentioning all of this because when we have that nice, sweet conjunction that weekend, the 23rd and the 24th of November, and the abundance is coming in, we're getting information from Spirit, we're getting information from Source, the Galactic Center on the 23rd. We're receiving gifts from people, for some people in their charts, depending upon if you have a planet or a significant point there. Like for right now, for Sagittarius risings, because this is in your first house, that means this could be happening on your ascendant, right? This could be, you could have your sun there somewhere. You could be a double Sag. You could have other planets there like Mercury. And so anytime a planet or a point is present when the traveling current location of other planets comes through, it magnifies the meaning of the event in your life. It makes it either really grand or, depending upon other aspects, it could make it not so beautiful. So again, these are general readings, but the overview, the locations of these are spot on. And if you know anything about astrology, you can look a lot of this stuff up yourself. I have links down below where you can draw up your own chart. You can see what your rising sign is. If you have your birth date information, you can go right into there. It's astro.com. Again, I've got the link below for you. You follow it and you just fill in the blanks on the site. If you have any complications, because it is a high quality astrologer's website, this is why I use it and also why I recommend it. Not to say there's none out there that exist that are equally as good, but this is just one that I have found is, I like the resources that are attached to it. And I just find them to be super, I like the quality, I'll be honest with you. So if you have any difficulties using that, you could always comment and say, gee, I need some help with this. I could always, do a short, quick video, like do a screen share thing where you can see how to navigate that website, because it can be confusing if you've never been there before. But please, the way I learned, I just went there and I messed around. I just experimented, messed around. I explored the site, which is Sagittarius. This is Sag. This is Sag on the ascendant, Sag rising. You are the ultimate explorer. You are the seeker. That is the arrow that's moving up. How can we keep moving up? That is Sagittarius. How can we keep growing? How can we keep expanding? How can we do this? And Sagittarius is typically do it through traveling, through researching, but researching what's beyond. Okay. Now, with that said, okay, so then you have the eclipse occurring, Sagittarius ascendant, Sagittarius rising. You have the eclipse occurring in your second house. It is happening on December 26th, the day after Christmas, and it is at 4 degrees Capricorn. Okay. This again is in your second house. All right. This is why I brought up the information about Venus, because Venus begins tapping into the Capricorn energy, and you understand it better because Venus is going to be there, and Venus is going to be all about, oh, I love everything that has to do with the Capricorn energy. And Venus is going to add peace and harmony to those locations of your life. Venus entering your second house is also a benefit. Venus usually brings gifts with her because Venus likes nice things. She's entering your house of my income. This is a really sweet place, a really sweet placement. And if you have planets there in that house, it would be even a stronger effect in your life. Now, the eclipse represents letting something go to make room for the new. Letting something go to make room for the new. It is a solar south node eclipse. The south node is a releasing. It's, I have to release this. I have to let it go. I have to make room for the new. The new is because it's a solar eclipse. The solar eclipse will have a lifespan of about, this one's going to be probably about 5 years, honestly. It's going to be about a 5-year span, which means it's not going to happen on that day. Hold on, let me turn some stuff down here. It's not going to happen on that day necessarily. And now if you have a point or a planet at exactly 4 degrees, oh yeah, this will be a much bigger deal for you. You will feel it more strongly. It'll be more immediate. You follow? It'll be way more powerful. It'll be way more significant. But if there's nothing in that second house, it will be like, it'll be a slow evolution. It'll be something that just kind of occurs, and it'll feel as though it was just a natural progression, not something that was rushed or intensified or out of balance. Okay. And the only way to know that is to look at your own chart to find out. If you don't know, comment your stuff down below and I'll hook you up. Okay. Now, again, that, like I said, you got to let go of. So in other words, let's try to understand a little bit better. Saturn and Pluto, also same location, the second house. This is in 2020, January of 2020. Saturn and Pluto are going to be conjunct there. Saturn is about restructure. Saturn is about structures. Pluto is about destroying those structures. Saturn is structures, Pluto is about transformation. Well, we have to transform the structures. So we need to restructure. We need to reconstruct. We need to think long term. Saturn is all about what do we want for our long-term goals. So we need to restructure based upon this thing way over there is our goal. Okay, so it's actually where you want to be in your mindset as well. Always thinking long term, not the short term. All right. And how do I get there? How do I plot that out? Having Venus in that house is really going to help a lot. It'll give you the sense of, oh, you know, if it was something you dreaded doing before, the plotting and the thinking of how do I make more money? Okay. Because this is your money house. This is my income. This is how can I make more money? Right. And how can I get the things I want? Well, I got to make money to get the things that I want. So Venus being there is going to give you assistance. The eclipse being there is going to actually give you assistance. A lot of times people think about this change. A lot of people aren't comfortable with change just because it's change. But if you have been waiting for change, if life has been like, oh man, I cannot wait for this shit to change. I can't wait for 2019 to be over. Well, 2020 promises all of us significant changes. There will be 6 eclipses in 2020. It's going to be a massive year where change is initiated. All right. So initiating change in your house of income, restructuring that for you. That's what's going to be occurring for you, Sag rising. And that begins in January of 2020. That conjunction is on the 13th. So if you have a planet or a point at 23 degrees Capricorn, that will be a big deal for you. And you'll probably have a better understanding and you'll have clarity around what exactly that's going to look like for you. And without looking at your specific individual chart, I can't tell you that and I wouldn't tell you that. But if you want, you could always, put yourself in down below and I could take a look at that for you in detail. All right, with that, I'm out. Bye.